Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're out the range to subject the B&T APC9 to the Gauntlet. This is one of the most requested firearms from our supporters over on Patreon, and so here we go. We want to thank Copper Custom for supplying the B&T APC9 for our testing this afternoon. And this is a gun that, in another version, a K version with a shorter barrel than this, passed the U.S. military tests and became the first submachine gun adopted since World War II. So this is currently used by the U.S. Army in special operations and things like that. It's not widely used, but it has been adopted, which is noteworthy. And it beat out other competitors. So it's going to be interesting to see how well this gun does in our Gauntlet testing. But first, what we do is something we call the elements test. We'll take the gun, put it in the water, fire it, put it in the sand, fire it, clean it, put it in the dirt, fire it, clean it, put it in the mud, and fire it. Basically what I'm getting at is we do a rinse cycle in between each of the elements that we have out here this afternoon. If the gun breezes through those tests, then we're going to subject it to what we call the Gauntlet. We'll put it in the water, fire sand, fire mud, dirt, mud, fire. You get the point, no rinse cycle in between. All right, so anyway, the first thing that we do is do a function check. We want to thank our friends over at Federal for supplying the 124 grain ball we'll be using this afternoon, free of charge. And this just confirms function before we start our testing. All right, functions just fine, and here we go. We put it around in the chamber, seal the system up, put it on safe. Here we go. All right, let's take it to the sand. Just push it down on each side. Clean the gun off in the water. Action's still staying pretty smooth, as I would expect. Put it in the dirt, just push it down. All right, they're off again. And then the mud. And here we go. Dead trigger? No, just fired. Something must have got into the trigger because at first it felt like a dead trigger. I pulled it harder and the gun did fire. All right. We'd like to thank our friends over at Big Daddy Unlimited for helping to support this video and other videos that we produce. Guys, if you would like to support us here at the Military Arms channel, please swing by and check out Big Daddy Unlimited. You can do that by going by militaryarms.org, checking out that big yellow link at the very top of the page, clicking it, and becoming a member for just 99 cents. If you would like to stay a member going forward, you can do so for 20% off using that link, which is just $7.99 a month. And what is BDU? Well, basically think of it as the Sam's Club of the online world. So again, please swing by and check out Big Daddy Unlimited. I don't know if I mentioned this in the last segment, but we're loading 15 rounds into each magazine for our testing. So at the end of the elements test, we noticed that the bolt on the gun became very difficult to operate. So we let it sit in the water, sloshed it around, worked the action, and the bolt freed up. So it cleaned itself off pretty well, it seems, in its own dirty water. So now that sets the gun up for the next test, which is the Gauntlet, which we just run it straight through with no rinse cycle in between. Here we go. Wait till there's no more bubbles. Basically let it fill up with water. All right, bolt lock to the rear. Next up, sand. Push it down. Flip her over. Here we go. Dang it, I hate it when I get sand in my dirt and dirt in my sand. All right, bolt locked open. Here we go to dirt. Push it down. Cover up all the action parts in dirt. Flip it over. Do the same. And fire. Trying to keep the dirt out of my other elements. All right, last up, the mud magazine sticking in the mag well. Here we go, guys. How's she gonna do? Is she gonna ace this? It's really close. Mud probably being the hardest one to survive. And here we go. She passes. She passes. Wow, that is cool. All right, let's clean it up. It's gonna work. We're gonna hose it off. We'll fire one more magazine through it to confirm function, but pretty sure the hose is gonna do just fine cleaning the gun up, and everything should be back in proper working order, even though it's still working like this. All right, guys, so we've cleaned the gun off with the garden hose like we've done the other PCCs in our testing. We didn't open up the action at any point during our test this afternoon, including the garden hose rinse off. We just rinsed it off because it was already working, even though it was caked in mud. So we'll just confirm function at the end of the video like we always do. But there's something interesting to note here. First of all, nothing in these tests are scientific. They're done for entertainment purposes, but there are things you can learn from these tests that are useful tidbits of information. It's up to you to sort out what information's good, valid, and useful, and what's just pure entertainment. Also, I want to stress that at any time during this testing, I can take a pinch of sand with most any firearm, including the most reliable in the world, and put that pinch of sand in the wrong spot, and that gun could stop working. Again, these tests are not scientific. With all that being said, our elements test went off without a hitch. The bolt was a little bit sticky in the water after the first test. We worked the action in the water, let it set, and then we went right to the Gauntlet, and the gun breezed the tests, so it did quite well. All right, guys, if you would like to support us here at the Military Arms channel, the best way to do that is to become a Patreon supporter, which allows us to keep making videos like this. There's a link in the video description below. Click that link and become part of our Patreon family. Also, right here on YouTube, there's a little join button underneath the video player. Click that join button and consider supporting us right here on YouTube. And last but not least, please swing by and check out Copper Custom. Again, thanking them for supplying the gun to Torture this afternoon. All right, guys, here we go. Last 15 rounds after the garden hose.